Now we're ready to learn about a quirky long-distance operator, the bishop. Bishops can move as far as their path is unblocked, along the diagonal. So in this position, the bishop can move to any of these squares. The major drawback of a bishop is that it can only touch the squares and the color on which it travels. So a bishop that begins on dark squares can only touch the 32 dark squares on the chessboard. Of course, a bishop that begins on a light square can only touch the 32 light squares on the chessboard. So we call our bishops a dark squared bishop or a light squared bishop. So while a bishop can go very far with one move, it's relegated to only half the squares in the chessboard. This is why the bishop is worth only 3 pawns. In this type of position, the bishop can slice right through white's pawn structure, but it can never attack any of the white pawns because they're all in dark squares. So here you can see both the pros and the cons of a light squared bishop. Like every other piece except for the pawn, the bishop captures the way it moves. It cannot jump over other pieces. And if a bishop is blocked in by its own pawns, it's considered a bad bishop. You always want to maximize the mobility of your chess pieces. Here the white bishop is blocked in by its own pawns, and can't do anything active. The black bishop, on the other hand, is free to roam and can attack the white pawns on dark squares. In this position, black is winning, because he has the better bishop. Now let's take a moment to talk about quality in chess. We say that each piece has a numerical value. Bishops are worth 3 pawns, rooks are worth 5 pawns. But in fact, the values of pieces fluctuate with the board position, and it's important to learn about the principles which determine what makes a given kind of piece more or less powerful. It turns out, for instance, that bishops are much better in open games than in closed games. An open game, by the way, is when the central pawn structure is not blocked. In this position, the pawns are wide open, so the bishop can cut through the whole position. Here, on the other hand, the bishops are locked in by the pawns. Knights, on the other hand, while they're also worth roughly 3 pawns, are better in closed games. We'll learn about the knights soon, but for now just remember that knights are the only piece that can jump over other pieces. So in a closed game, a knight can leap into attack, while other pieces are locked in. So if you have a bishop against a knight, you want to open up the game. With knowledge of these principles, as they'll be taught in this course, you'll be able to make long-term strategic decisions, even in your first weeks of play. Just to show you the power of centralization in chess, and also to show you the power of the bishop, take a look at this position. Here white's 2 bishops, on d5 and e5, cover all of these squares. But of course notice that the white bishop alone only covers these, and the black bishop covers the rest. So the power of 2 bishops is very important to understand. In chess, we refer to one side or another as having 2 bishops. So while a bishop is worth 3 pawns and a knight is worth 3 pawns, usually 2 bishops together are better than a bishop and a knight, because they complete each other. Let's try out some exercises. This we call monster bishop. Black to move and take all the white pieces consecutively, capturing 1 piece per move. No, that's not quite right. Try again. Good job, you found the right sequence to capture all the white pieces. Take a look at this position. First, click on all the black pieces that the white bishop can capture. Good. Now, what is white's best move? Capturing pieces is very tempting, but always remember to look for the best move in chess. Excellent work. Bishop d4 is checkmate and ends the game right away. Here white has 2 bishops for a rook. What is white's best move? I'm sure you see that the black rook is attacking the h2 bishop. Bishop f4, very good. King b1. What's the next move? Bishop e4 check. Excellent work. Driving the king all the way to the corner of the board. King a1. What's mate in 1 here? Excellent work. Bishop e5 checkmate. A critical pattern, similar to the way you used 2 rooks earlier to trap a king. Here you've used your 2 bishops in the same manner. It's white to move here. What's the best move? The first thing you should do is notice all of the black pieces that can be captured. Why don't you highlight them? Good job. Now which is the most valuable piece that can be taken? White had 3 options and you found the best move. Way to go. In this position, look for all your moves. White to play. What do you see? Remember, bishops can cover a lot of distance. Do you see mate in 1? Rook h8 mate. Great work. The rook is supported by the bishop on the opposite corner of the board. Here it's white's move, but be careful to find the best move. What do you see? Excellent work. Rook b6 mate combines the rook and the bishop to win the game. Sometimes when we're closest to victory, we release the tension of the game and throw everything away. Notice how terrible a mistake rook takes f5 would have been. Here black is stalemated. There are no legal moves. Once again in this position, you want to find the best move. White to play. White can take either the bishop or the pawn. Clearly the bishop is the better option. But remember skewers? Good job. Force the black king to move out of danger and win a rook for free. What is white's best move? This one is tricky and it introduces a new idea, a tactic called the fork. Good job. Bishop takes c5 check wins a pawn and a rook because it forks the king and the rook. A fork, of course, is like a fork in the road. We'll discuss this tactical idea later on, but it's when one piece